couple minutes late here. I think we're going to wait about one more minute as I see there's quite a few people still trying to sign on. We're expecting actually over 100 attendees today, so we're going to let as many get on as possible. We'll be with you in about 1 minute. For those of you who are online, if you can see the screen, which I'm assuming you can at this point, you'll notice I have my Twitter address and Vertical Measures Twitter address for those of you who are out there tweeting. And if you wanted to comment about this webinar, you could use the hashtag SEO 2010. So pound SEO 2010 if you wanted to refer to this webinar while we're broadcasting. All right, I think we're going to get started. Just a few notes. We will be running about 45 minutes if I stay on schedule here. And my name again is Arnie Ken with Vertical Measures, and on the line with me as well is Patty Adams, our Director of Sales and Marketing. Say hello, Patty.
Good morning.
Hopefully everybody can hear us just fine. As I mentioned, we're going to run about 45 minutes, hoping to leave about 15 minutes for questions at the end. With this many people, I doubt we're going to be able to get to everybody's questions, but we'll do the best we can. All righty. We'll start off, obviously the topic is SEO and link building for 2010, and I've actually had to update this presentation a couple of times this week already. There's quite a few things happening, and we'll try to cover all of them on this webinar. All right, first I just wanted to make, the first two slides are really just some kind of general comments. The first one is I guess a slide that I've been using now for about a year. I read this phrase in a book somewhere and it just really stuck with me. SEO is critical. When someone types a keyword into a search box, there's only two possible outcomes. They're either going to find you or they're going to find your competitor. And I think everybody on this call is here because you know the value of being listed in Google and Yahoo and Bing. You can, as my next slide shows, you can actually sustain an entire business based on organic search traffic. And I will tell you at Vertical Measures here, we practically do sustain our entire business based on just our natural search traffic. However, organic search rankings are something you can work to influence, but ultimately we don't control them. The search engine algorithms actually make that call. They control the search results. So that's what we're here to talk about, is how can we do the best possible influencing those search results. And many of you on the call, excuse me, have probably seen this kind of a heat map before. This one's actually probably now a year and a half, maybe even 2 years old. There's been some updated versions. They look extremely similar to this. And what this is basically pointing out is where you see the color, in particular the red color and the orange, that's where people tend to look on a search results page. So all of the eyeballs go to the top left. What you also see on this graphic is a whole bunch of purple X's. Hopefully you all see the purple X's. This is where people actually click. So what's important here is you can see how many clicks the first 2 and 3 listings dominate in search results. And by the way, if you look off to the right where the column of sponsored links are, you'll see very few people click there. That was true 2 years ago, and it's still very true today. In fact, I just saw a recent stat that a listing in the #1 position on Google will get clicked 43% of the time. I mean, that's just really, really powerful. And as I've already pointed out, natural search results receive many more clicks than paid search. And I also saw a study not too long ago that natural search actually converts about 30% better than paid search clicks. So this is lots of evidence on why you want to get to page 1 and as high up on page 1 as possible. So I'm going to do a little bit of a recap, and then because I don't know the level of everybody on the call, I'm going to get some basics out of the way, and then we'll start heading towards what we think you should be doing for 2010. Anyway, what happened in 2009 is Google made about 160, they made changes to their algorithms every week, and they made about 160 changes in Q1 of 2009 alone. They're constantly tweaking. And not to steal my own thunder, but you're going to hear a little bit about Google Caffeine, which is going to be released very, very soon, and that's going to shake things up even further. Lots of changes in there. The search engines, all of them are getting better and better at eliminating spam and spam techniques, things that worked, really, really well 5 years ago don't work at all anymore. Things that worked as far as trying to trick the search engines maybe even a year or 2 years ago barely work now. What really became important in 2009 is the quality of the backlinks. Google's really getting good at figuring out, basically what my fourth bullet here says. If a link is easy to get, the search engines know it, and they qualify it accordingly. And another thing that's really happening and building a lot of momentum, and I'll touch on this again in a future slide here, but social media signals are becoming a real factor. And what I mean by signals is if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, and there's a whole bunch of other social media sites out there, what Google's starting to look for is, for example, with vertical measures, how many times is vertical measures being mentioned out there online, on the web, in places other than search results? And when it's being mentioned, what are the words that are close to it? So if it's a tweet, if it's vertical measures is a great SEO company, well, then that tells Google and Bing that we must have something to do with SEO. And the more those kinds of things happen, the more it develops a signal that we must be the company to talk to regarding SEO, for example. And Patty, you can jump in anytime.
I will. I'm just listening, fascinated now.
Okay. All right, so what to expect in 2010. How I compiled this was I attend lots of seminars around the country. One group that I respect quite a bit is SEO Moz, and they've done a really good job. Every 2 years they do a really good job of researching and interviewing SEOs, and some of this information is pulled from them. But I think most SEOs that have been in the business a while would probably agree with this list. Of course, nobody knows for sure, all the details to the algorithms and Google's and Bing's plans and so on. But one thing's for sure is you're seeing changing search results. Universal search, which came out a while ago, and everybody started to notice it with local search results and Google Maps showing up in the natural search results. You now see in certain searches you'll see videos appearing, and in Google it's usually YouTube, but you'll see actual videos listed on the first page of Google. Press release to now, depending on the search, you might even see an entire small section that's geared towards news and press releases. So it's more trending search results. And then you'll often see at the bottom of lots of searches a small list of blog posts. So all of those things are ways to get onto page 1 or into Google search results without necessarily being ranked 1 through 10. There's just other ways to capture some real estate on the first page of Google, and that's happened throughout 2009, and that's going to happen even more in 2010. Personalized search, I had to add this to the slide as it was just released about a week ago. And what that is, and it's kind of got the industry all shook up right now, and I think unnecessarily, but what that is Google used to kind of follow your search patterns if you were logged into your Google account. What they did several days ago was release that to they're tracking you even if you're not logged in. So people searching anonymously, most people don't know if they're logged in or they're not logged in, and most searchers are not. Most people are searching from home, and they're not in our business. They don't even know to have a Google account to be logged in. But Google they're going to watch your search results, and they will show you different search results based on your activity. Now, this is going to be a very slow implementation, and some people would then say, well, why do you need SEO if everything's going to be personalized? Well, the biggest reason is you will never become a favorite of the individual searcher out there if you don't show up to begin with. So you need to be there, you need to get there, and then you need to get clicked on by the searcher, and then actually the flip side of it is you might end up starting to really dominate if you become a part of their routine search results. As I already mentioned, social media influence is starting to happen. Not only were signals being tracked throughout 29 and certainly it's planned for 2010, and we believe that's going to be a significant part of Google's caffeine release, but something else Google did here now in the last week or so is release real-time search results. And some of you may have already seen it when you're surfing, but now showing Twitter feeds, Facebook feeds, just so you can do a keyword search, and you'll suddenly find maybe a tweet that's happened in the last 10 minutes or the last 5 minutes or whatever. It's actually a little bit controversial right now because SEOs, as we always do, are already finding ways to exploit it. To be honest with you, I've read some articles on it. I've played with it myself. I'm a little surprised because it does seem a little bit easy to exploit. But anyway, it's there, it's live, and it's running, and that's real-time search results, primarily coming from the social media platforms. And then quality in SEO, that's been happening every single year, and Google made a release this year. Oh, I forget it just slipped my mind, but it was in about May of 2009, where suddenly the brands seem to have more power in the search results. And they probably do. And one of the reasons that that's happened is Google put a much bigger emphasis on the quality of the backlinks. So the triad of things that have always been out there are going to become even more important, which is you need to create engaging, unique content. You really still do need to optimize each page that you want to rank for, and you need more now than ever to get trusted inbound links to your website. And we'll start to get into a little bit of the details now. And by the way, I see there's lots of questions coming in. I'll do my best to get to them, but you're going to have to just be patient as we go through this. I don't know if you can see that. I'll have to close that. Anyway, so this is about the most basic slide we're going to have in the presentation. This is how does Google work? How does the bot and the spider work? And hopefully everybody on this call more or less gets it, but I'm surprised at times that people don't quite understand what's happening. But basically, if you look to the left, and I don't know if you see my mouse here or not, but the Google bot and spider is crawling the web, all around the world, every day, every second of every hour, finding all sorts of new pages, re-indexing old pages, so on and so forth. It's a massive undertaking. But basically what happens is a spider hits a website, and this particular one here is ASP.net. It's an e-commerce site. And they happen on one of their internal pages, have a little write-up on vertical measures, and in the content, in this one paragraph here, they happen to link to us using a phrase, link building services. And that link, that anchor text, is directed over to this page, which is an internal page on our website, our link building services page. And what basically happens is Google says, okay, well, ASP.net says this site or this page is supposed to be about building services, and then it indexes this content, and it basically says, well, why, and is it? So it looks at things, which I think is my next slide, yes, like does it mention link building service in the title tag? You can see that to the top left corner. Does it happen to have that phrase as an H1 tag, a header tag? Is it in the content? Is there any chance it's bolded, although bold and in italics aren't critical? It's believed that it actually still can matter a little bit. And then also, is it in the meta description? And this happens to be the meta description for this page on our website. And yes, of course, we have link building services in it. So it looks to see if all of that is there. If it's not there, the question the algorithm has to ask itself, well, is why is this website sending me to this page about link building services when I don't even see it mentioned anywhere? And basically what it's going to do is make a decision to discount that link. You can't force things to happen. But when it looks this good and when they hit a page and they see all this in place and there's plenty of links coming to this, plenty of quality links coming to this page, then you, if you're lucky, like we happen to be, then you end up with really good rankings like this. And what you're looking at here is an example of an indented listing, which is basically as good as it gets. We, in essence, own the first and second listing on the natural search results for the phrase link building service. Now, we've worked very hard at that over time, and the way we've got this indented listing is we've linked these two pages together. We've built, of course, links to this. We have lots of good quality links coming into our site in general, which I'll show you in some future slides how we accomplish that. But ultimately, you need to have pages optimized, like I mentioned. You need to have good content, and your inbound links need to match what that content is saying to Google. All right, so we talked about this. Here's I'm going to cover the 3 bullets in a little bit more detail now. Creating good content, as I just mentioned, you want to discover and figure out and know what your core keyword phrases are. What are your money phrases for your business? And it's, depending if you're an e-commerce site, you're going to say, well, I've got thousands of them. If you're a vendor, like us, services provider, maybe we have 20, 30 really important keyword phrases to us. And by the way, we also know we're not going to get ranked, number 1 for 20 or 30 of our phrases. That's not reality. But you pick your core keyword phrases, and then you make sure that the pages you're targeting for those are optimized, as in the example I gave you, header tags, title tags, so on and so forth. But you also want to make sure that those pages are adding real value to the website visitor. They need to either be unique, maybe informative, but educational, or entertaining. What always amazes me is the Google algorithm. I mean, I know it's almost, we talk about it like it's a person, but it really is just an algorithm, but how good it is at understanding whether or not this is good content or bad content. And they use tons of factors, and traffic to a specific page is one of the factors. I mean, if people keep coming back, if they're spending time on that page, then they view that as probably a good page. If it happens to be a blog post with lots of comments, so they use that as information to tell them that this is valuable, evidently, to web visitors. So you do need to build good value for the person showing up at your website who took the time to be there. But something else that other people tend to miss is, who do you link to? Google likes to see links leaving a page going to another website, and they follow that. And are you taking them yet to another really good authoritative site on your subject matter? If you are, you're getting bonus for that. If you link to spammy sites or no other sites, whatever, basically you have to look at it as it's your reputation. If you're not sharing that, or if you're trying to, or if you're sending to other, bad, weak sites, then in essence, you are who you're friends with. So you want to be careful with that. And not only be careful, but actually do a good job providing value to the visitors that are there. All right, so proper on-page optimization, and so also a lot of this pulled from the study that I mentioned earlier. This was done recently, and every 2 years. This is what other SEOs feel are the most important factors going into 2010. And of course, number 1 is links, and not just backlinks, but this particular reference is to even internal and external links. Now, I just talked for a couple minutes about external links. Who are you linking to? What anchor text are you using to link out to people? And then how do you link internally on your website? You should link from the content of your website to internal pages. Those count as links. Google likes to see that you're providing a nice path through your website for your visitors to follow. And then freshness of content, I think we've probably all heard that, and keyword usage, but you do need to be adding, which is why a blog on your website is a great tool, but you do need to be providing new, fresh content for your users. If it gets really stale, then Google's going to keep indexing your site, but it's going to come back less frequent and less frequent, and also it could end up hurting you in the rankings. Title tags, they're critical. Really important to Google, and you have to remember they're also what is viewed in those search results. So that search results page I showed you, the blue hyperlink part in the Google search results is the title tag, and then number 6 here you'll see is the description tag. That's also viewed in the results. So you really need to think about, for as many pages as possible, what text do you want displayed in the search results. And so 3 and 6 here in this list are important for that. Image alt text, that's really important. H1 tags that I mentioned. Your URL structure, are the keywords used in the URL? That'd be great if they are. You can definitely influence that with blog posts. And then something new that I think has been a buzz in the industry here for the last few weeks. I'm not sure if it came out of PubCon or wherever first, but page load times. Google is all about the user experience. So when they hit your website, do they have to wait for your pages to load? If they do, that's a bad experience. It'll probably influence your bounce rates, and slow load times are going to hurt you. And evidently, that's going to be a big feature in the Google Caffeine rollout that's happening pretty soon. All right, so what not to do? What you don't want to do is fool the search engines. They're good at it. They know it if you're trying to trick them. We see this periodically still, and part of what we have to clean up on some of our client sites. The old keyword stuffing, trying to use your keyword too much throughout the content of your site, or using it as a link throughout your site, just too overdone, is bad. If you have any pages where, and we still see this, where you have actually more links than you do text. You just have lists of links, or the footer or the bottom half of your page, you're linking to all sorts of internal pages using these links. That's usually considered a spammy move, and you'll get penalized for that, and we've seen that. And then also, don't put content on there if it's not of value to your visitor. It's tempting to do if you're trying to do regional or location-based pages, real estate Phoenix, real estate Tucson, real estate whatever, and all the content is exactly the same on every page except for the city. That's real easy, of course, for the search engines to spot, and they know that you're not really adding a lot of value. So you're actually going to have to take the time to do a better job of making those pages unique. But of course, the biggest factor is inbound links, and I've mentioned this a couple of times already, but the thing that and I mentioned Google, but I will also say that Bing has many of the same factors that they're looking for. Obviously, all of us are most concerned about Google, but in the future, Bing's, I think, going to be a player that we all need to pay attention to and at least get some traffic from. But they also like backlinks, and they really like backlinks from trusted sites. You need to have the proper anchor text. So when you're linking, as the example I gave with link building service, when you're linking to specific pages on your site, make sure that you're influencing the anchor text as much as possible. But you also don't want it to be the same every single time. You do want it to be varied anchor text, sticking with the theme of the keyword, of course. And then also something that seems to be moving up into the influence for 2010 is not only the quantity of links and quality and from trusted sites, but they want to see links from a variety of domains. So it's one thing to have a site-wide link on a blog or a website. It's another thing to have links on 30 different domains, which is what's preferred. We tend not to worry too much about reciprocal links or even page rank. You've heard this probably many times. Reciprocal links were kind of in vogue years ago. They went out of vogue, but I think Google truly understands that the way the web works is if I like you, I'm going to talk about you, I'm going to link to you, you might notice that link and that I talked about you and mentioned you. You might, maybe a month later, write an article or write a post and kind of return the favor and link to me. They could be on a link to totally different, where I'm linking to you from might not be where you're linking to. So Google understands that, and actually those could be some of the best links you have. Everybody is obsessed with PageRank. It's the only real measurement that's really fast and easy to use on the web. And everybody looks at PageRank. We look at PageRank no matter what we say. We always look at PageRank, but really there are other factors that do matter. What's the strength of the site? If I can get a link from a page that has a 0 PageRank or maybe a PageRank 1, but it's from the Wall Street Journal, or it's deep on some EDU, a school's website because they talked about us a year ago, I'll take those every time. I'll take those over most likely a decent blog post link. So there's other factors. The quality of the site matters probably the most. And so what are bad links? Link farms are starting to go away. Although I've seen actually a couple of them pop up. Brand new link farms where you can buy into a network of links. Links pages, that was all the rage for a little while, but those are clearly being discounted. Where you say, here's a list of all my favorite sites, and you list 100 or 200 sites because they also link to you, which I know is kind of the definition of a reciprocal link. The difference is if I'm linking to them from an obvious links page, or you're getting links from obvious links pages, they don't really count that much. Google understands those are easy to get. And then also if there's multiple links to the same site from the same page, so if you go off and somehow manage to get 3 or 4 links from the same page on somebody else's site, really only that first link is carrying any link juice to you. In fact, if there's too many links, it's just going to look bad and probably discount the whole page. Non-relevant or spammy footer links, we still see footer links a lot. They just don't count that much anymore. Google is very good at being able to distinguish the navigation links on your page, and they'll just count those as navigation links, and they really don't count a lot for you. And also, you don't want to link out to or from what we call the PPC, the porn, pills, and casino links. They're just bad neighbors. And I actually kind of already mentioned this, but the sidebar links, the navigation links, whether it's on the side or in your footer or whatever, they just do not carry much weight. And I wouldn't say that those are bad links, and bad links generally can't really harm you. They're generally discounted as a 0 value, but there's no sense of putting a lot of time or effort designing your site or trying to add those kinds of links when they aren't really going to do you a lot of good. All right, so where do we get links since they're so important? Well, I wrote this into 2 sections. One is the low-hanging fruit, and I bet you can guess what the next page is going to be. But low-hanging fruit, as I've mentioned, is internal links from content. Lots of people miss this. It's the easiest link you can possibly get. And I do mean if you have articles, businesses that might make sense to get a link from, contact them, email them, talk to them, get a handful of links if you can. Those all help. Associations, probably many of you belong to, Chamber of Commerce, or in our town, the Arizona Interactive Marketing Association, or Social Media Club, or whatever it is. All of them are looking for sponsors or even just any donation of any kind. And you might be able to just contact them and make a $50 donation or a $100 or a $25 donation and get a nice link from their sponsors page or donors page or whatever. And oftentimes those have really nice link juice. Social profiles, those are also something fairly easy to get, fairly low-hanging fruit. In fact, if you just search for my name on Google, you'll find all kinds of social profiles that you can sign up for. Lots of them will allow you to build links to your website, to your blog, to your whatever. And some of them are no-follow, and we don't really care about that. A link is a link from that standpoint, and certainly if it's that easy to get, it's just another signal to Google. So go out there and find, various social profiles and add your content, add your links to it. Clients and suppliers, I'm not sure this is totally low-hanging fruit, as it does take some work. But if you have good relationships with your clients or vendors that are supplying services to you or products to you, get a list together. Maybe ask your sales team to set aside a couple of hours and make calls to them. What you'll need to do is have some kind of an offer in exchange. Maybe you'll give them a discount on their next order, or if it's a supplier to you, maybe it could be as simple as a logoed shirt. Send them a T-shirt, or exchange a link with them. But reach out to clients and suppliers. You already have a relationship there. And then directories are actually another fairly easy one. They're still reasonably influential. Certainly if you get into the Yahoo directory or the Best of the Web and some of the better known fee-based directories, again, the search engines understand that. Yahoo, I think, is $200 or $300 a year to be listed in their directory. Well, the search engines, Google understands you've made a commitment there. If you spent $300 to get listed in their directory, you're probably serious about your business. So some of these directories actually provide decent link juice, and some can provide traffic. But there's all sorts of directories, and you could do just regular old searches and search for, if you're in the healthcare market, search for healthcare directories, state by state, Arizona healthcare services, and just look for directories. So they're actually not that hard to find. And then blogs can be really, really powerful. whether it's your own blog or if you can take the time and make contacts with other bloggers in your industry and offer to do guest posts. It takes a little bit of work, but if you can build a relationship with a blogger, I know, even our blog, if somebody actually offered us a really good guest post, we'd take it. Writing posts is work. So if somebody provides it to us for free and the worst they're asking for is to leave a link to their website in it, if it's a good post, sure, we'll post it, and you'll find many other bloggers will as well. You just have to build a relationship with them and reach out and make those arrangements. So the higher branches. This takes more work, but generally has a very nice reward. Again, as I've covered in the first few slides here, if you can get the top 2 or 3 on any search phrase that you're seeking, it can be a small gold mine. So one of the things to do, and we do this a lot for our clients, is competitive link research. You find out what your competitors are doing, how they're getting links, where are they getting links, and you build a list and you go off and request links from those same sites. It's work, but it can really, really pay off. You'll find some amazing gems in there. Something else to do, and we do this a lot also with our clients, we preach this, and we know this takes work, but you build link-worthy content, and then you promote that content. And I'm going to give a couple of examples here coming up. But it can be video. It could be a page filled with funny images. It could be a top 10 list. It can be whatever. Actually, I think I'm stealing my thunder. I think that's on my next slide, so I won't run through this. But you build you build good content, and the links will come. So to get out there on some of the social networks and promote it. You might, depending on your industry, build content or tools that you can license out. If you in our industry, maybe if you had a keyword rank checking tool and you place it on your site and others can download it and put it on their website, well, that can create links to you. Article placement. All of you belong in whatever your industry is, and all of your industries have associations and magazines out there. Write articles for them. The article's placed. Not only would they maybe possibly show up in print, but they'll show up in their online version, and they always allow at least an author bio with links throughout the content. Link recovery or reclamation, that is something that's also actually almost on the easy side at times. It really depends on the situation. But what this is, if you haven't done this, you can go into your Google account, your Webmaster account, and I forget exactly where it is in the Webmaster account, but it will show you links coming into your site that are getting 404 errors. In other words, you've moved a page, or through whatever circumstances, the page no longer appears to be there to Google. And once you spot those, it's as simple as going in and doing a 301 redirect. So redirect that old page to the proper new page, and you will reclaim all the links that were going to that old page. And in fact, in the Google Webmaster Tools, it will literally tell you that you've got XYZ page with a 404 error, and it has 16 backlinks to it, or whatever it is, 22 backlinks to it, or 3 backlinks, whatever the number is, and it's as simple as going in and making a 301 change and recovering those links. We've also done the other side, where we've gone out and found people who are linking to us, to us or to a client, and that page is no longer there, and we go to those sites and ask them if they could possibly change that link as well, and we get those links fixed. And then, of course, the thing that's been controversial now for years is purchasing or renting links. As my friend Rand Fishkin once said at a seminar I was at, hey, everybody's doing it. And that is true. Anybody in any competitive industry is making some kind of a deal to get links. Whether they're just outright renting them or not, I don't know, and I can't necessarily say, and I think there's lots of sites that don't. But one way or another, you're bartering for links. So you can do it. I don't recommend using any of the broker services. I just think those are extremely easy to track down. Why risk it? And it is really kind of a risk tolerance issue here. How much risk are you willing to take? But ultimately, and kind of the approach we've taken with some people is, hey, would you mind placing this content on your website? We've written this really cool article. We're willing to pay you X amount for your time for your webmaster to place this content. And that sometimes works to get people's attention. But the reality is there are times where you're just going to have to make a deal to get links placed. All right, so here, this is my own thunder I stole here. But as I mentioned, it all starts with good content. Excuse me. And when you're building it, I generally tell people, think about whether or not this is link-worthy. Is this something that somebody outside of your own business will be interested in promoting? I'm sorry, linking to. So if you promoted it and made them aware of it, is that going to be compelling enough where they say, hey, this is a really cool video, or this is a really cool image, or top 10 list, or whatever? And so some of the ideas are lists, videos, case studies, comparisons. Maybe you can do a product comparison or a service comparison. If you're really clever and don't mind the humor side, you could do satire, parodies. Interviews are very, very popular. Interview prominent people in your industries, post it on your blog, post it on your site, do a video interview, whatever it might be. The results of different, actually conducting polls and surveys and then posting the results can be really interesting, and people might link to that kind of data. And then contests. I do have a couple of examples coming up, but contests are a really good way to get a lot of links at a reasonably low cost and reasonable effort. But once you get the content, you want to get out and promote it using social media. Use Twitter, use Facebook, use LinkedIn, whatever, to promote the content. I think I've got about 5 more slides. I'm trying to keep an eye on my time as well here. So here's an example of a contest. This was, I believe, a one-person shop. There might have been a second employee here, a bridal shop who ran a contest, and it was as simple as asking 3 questions. You had to tell what your engagement story was, what your wedding day theme plan was or is, and what's special about your wedding. And people entered they ran a Facebook ad. They also did a lot of tweeting. They got all of these entries, and they had a drawing, and they had sponsors providing, I forget what the whole gift package was, but it was quite a nice little package. And they drew hundreds of people to their website through this contest. It was a simple, very simple small business who managed then to get lots of links because people talked about the contest. Not only that, they got hundreds of people who filled out this form who now became a prospect list for them. And really large companies run contests too. We have a very large hotel chain working with us for about the last maybe year. We've done many different promotions for them, and you can see a few of them listed here. Things like attending a motor sports event and you get a discount at their hotel. Go to Disneyland, get a discount at their hotel. Down to the bottom, multi-night stays. You get gift cards, so on and so forth. And they would create special contest pages, and we would get up and promote it. And this was actually extremely successful. They got ranked for their important keyword phrases in very short order. I mean, literally, page 1, sometimes top 5 results in like a 30-day period for the keyword phrases that we used around each of these promotions. And, of course, they got backlinks because all the other travel sites or travel blogs were trying to tell their readers about all these wonderful promotions for this hotel chain. And then even internet marketing companies like us run contests. We've run a couple of that we call our Boost Your Juice contest campaigns, and we just awarded a winner a couple of weeks ago for our last one. And we offer a pretty good prize. We offer a $5,000 grand prize, and it's $5,000 in services and $1,000 in services for the second place. And what we asked people to do was submit an essay to us telling us why they should win. This last one, they submitted an essay with photos, with images. We chose 5 finalists and had the public vote on it. And if I remember right, Patty might help me with this, but I think we had over 1,500 votes. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive to see.
And what it's done for us is if you search, well, this was a few days ago anyway, if you search Google for Boost Your Juice, we have the top 14 search results. And I realize that that's not a worldwide brand like Coca-Cola, but gradually we are branding that phrase, Boost Your Juice. Over this last contest, we had over 2,000 visitors check out the contest page, and we received links from more than 50 different websites who were all talking about our contest. So it does work.
I thought what was really remarkable about this is for the second contest in particular, we saw a lot more of the contestants going out and doing their own social media to talk about the fact that they were in this contest, that they submitted this essay, go look at their essay, vote. So we got a lot more involvement this time, and it was great for them, for their own promotion of their own site and their own business, and obviously it was great for Vertical Measures as well. So definitely a very powerful tool.
Exactly. Yep. And this is going to seem like it doesn't fit a corporate blog, but I put this into a lot of our presentations because there's still many people who don't run blogs on their websites or don't maintain them as much as they should. And I would say about 4 or 5 days ago, I think I cut this table out of our Google Analytics. So this is a 90-day snapshot of our page views for various pages on our website. So this is real data, behind-the-scenes data. And our blog brings in 24% of our overall page views. We're averaging about 4,000 page views to our blog alone. And we make pretty consistently, but we only do 2 posts per week, 8 posts per month. And you can see some of them, right at the circle, the green circles at the top of this chart here. What is that? 4 of the top 6 pages visited at our website in the last 90 days are blog post pages. So if you don't have one, I really highly recommend it because it foots back to everything I've been talking about, which it gives you a place and the ability to create really good link-worthy content, post it, and attract visitors. And eventually people subscribing to your feeds, and it just starts to build, and we get, as you see, lots of traffic and lots of leads just because of our blog. And also, the fresh content keeps the search engines coming back and gives you a place to do internal linking. All right, so I think this is my last slide here. A recap, changes for 2010, biggest changes coming, more and more universal search. Obviously, we're going to hear and know a lot more about personalized and real-time search in just the next 30 days. I mean, it was all just pretty much released in a big way in the last 6-7 days. So this is very new. And then Google Caffeine, it is going to be the next big change to Google's search results. It's been, I think, fairly well publicly known now that they're running it on one data center in a test mode, and they're just holding back, waiting to get through the holidays. Matt Cutts from Google actually announced that they would not release caffeine during the holidays because they did not want to mess with the e-commerce vendors who count so much on search engine traffic, from basically Thanksgiving to the end of the year. So my guess is in January it's going to get rolled out to all the data centers. We don't really know, all the changes, and of course Google never tells you what all of the changes are. But as I've covered in this presentation, I am sure it's going to focus, more and more and more on social media. It's going to focus more on the quality of your SEO, the content, the backlinks, and then, as I mentioned earlier, even the speed of your page loads and so on. So these are the changes we see coming actually very, very soon.
And really, if you look at this list, you can kind of tell it all foots back to a user experience. All these changes that we seem to be seeing all seem to go back to the search engines trying to improve the user's experience when they're doing searches and they're on your website in particular.
Yep, and actually, I don't know if you can see that. I'm scrolling through some of the questions. Got a lot of questions, but looks like we're having troubles with audio. I didn't see that until now. The questions were popping in. If you have questions, this will be the time to post them. And yes, by the way, there is one question here, and I forgot to mention this at the very beginning, but this is being recorded. The audio should be there, and we will post this online within a few days, and everyone who registered for the webinar will get notified when it becomes live, and it should take 3 or 4 days for us to get that prepared and out. All right. Well, I don't see any further questions here. We appreciate everybody attending today. And with that, we're going to wrap up the webinar. You do see our contact information here for Patty, our website, her email address, and phone number. We thank you all very much for attending. I think we've stayed on schedule here. Hopefully you've learned a lot, and we'll talk to you and see you in the future. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us.